Hello everyone, welcome to 1045 Engineering. We are here with yet another series for mastering data structures and algorithms in Java. For the first session, we are going to start with data structure arrays. So let's understand arrays. So in this episode, we are going to cover what are arrays, declaring and initializing arrays, accessing array elements, array length, modifying array elements, iterating through arrays, common array operations, and some code examples. So first let's understand with the definition, arrays are fundamental data structures. They're used to store collections of elements of the same type. Okay. By now I'm sure you all are aware what are types, integer, characters, and like this. So they store the elements of the same type in contiguous memory location. By contiguous we mean one after the other. They provide really efficient random access to elements based on their indices. Okay. Now before going into initialization and understanding code examples and everything, let's understand the array data structure. Okay. So let's start. Let's say we have few elements. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. What happens is when they are stored in an array, they are stored one after the other. So 1 will be here, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now one more thing, important thing related to arrays is index, or plural for indices, right? So this is the starting index. So the index will be 0, then this index would be 1, index will be 2, index would be 3, index would be 4, and index is 5, right? Plus one more main thing is when they are stored in memory. So let's say this is memory starting at 0x200, and we have some data here already, here some data already, here we have some space. So this array is stored here. Okay. Now all the elements, all these 6 elements are going to be stored one after the other. So first one will be here, second, third, fourth, fifth, 6. This way we already know that they are in the contiguous memory allocation. Okay, so if you have the address of the starting index node, you know that the next number is on the next address, the next address, the next address, the next address, and the next address likewise. So this way they are always stored in contiguous memory allocation. Okay, I hope this is clear. Also, if you see for an array, let's say you have an array for integers, it will store only the integers like 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now again, each integer will have its own size, let's say 4 bytes for integers. And similarly, if you store characters, you can only store A, B, C, and D, right? Similarly, you can store strings and other data structures. The important thing is that it will only store data structures of the same type. Okay, I hope this is clear. Let's come back to this part. Let's understand few things here. Okay, now let's see how do we declare and initialize. Okay, let's run this. If it's working fine, 1045 engineering. Okay, so for initialization, let's initialize, or let's declare one integer array. Okay, so we'll say declaring an array of integers. Okay, so int numbers. Now at this point in time we have only declared the integer array. We have not defined the size, we have not defined anything. Then we can say numbers is equal to new int. Again, I'm not giving the size, but now we are going to give the elements directly. So now the size is known to us. Okay, now the size is 6 because there are 6 elements. One more thing is when you declare an array like this, let's say int is equal to new int of size 6, that means you are getting a contiguous memory location. In this memory allocation, 6 continuous memory locations you have, so you can directly store elements on each of this. Okay, let's see one more thing. Okay, one more important thing is, now that we know that arrays have indices, we can do this, that you have an array, okay, and it has 6 positions, 1 2 3 4 5 and 6 here. Okay, and suppose the arrays was nums, and you say array nums of 0 is equal to 4, that means on 0th index 4 will come. If you say nums of 4 is equal to 1, so 0 1 2 3 4, at this position we will have 1. Okay, indexes always start with 0 and then 1 2 3 4 5 and 6, 4 and 5 here. Okay, similarly if you again say nums of 4 is equal to 2, so 1 will be removed from here and we'll get 2 here. Okay, now let's go back to the code. Okay, so we have declared our array and we have initialized our array. Now comes the part that we want to access array elements. Okay, let's say I'll say int, okay, third element is equal to numbers of 2. Why 2? Because the index starts from 0 0 1 2, so third element is actually at index 2. Now we are giving the value of third element to third element. Let's print it. System.out.println third element. Okay, let's see, 3. We can see we have printed 3, right? Similarly, what would be the length of array here? Let's check the length of array as well. Okay, so int array length is equal to, you can directly say array name, that is numbers dot length, right? If I now print the length, system.out.println array length, and then we'll print array length. Okay, let's run. We can see the array length is 6. We can see 1 2 3 4 5 6, we have 6 as the array length. Now again, can we modify the elements as we saw in the example, right? We can modify the array elements. Now let's modify the array elements. So we'll say numbers of let's modify the third element, right? 2 is equal to, what value should we give? 10. Okay, now let's print system.out.println third element, okay, so it is printing third element 3. Now why is it printing third element 3? Third element should be 10, right? Because third element was assigned the value nums of 2 from here, that time the value was 3. So we'll just take it from here, command X, and we don't need this. After this we'll say okay. So we change the value for the third element, that is the second index, and we'll see what is the new value now. If we see, third element is now 10. Okay, but the other elements would still be same. We can also directly print the element. So system.out.println, and we can say numbers of, let's say, 1. Okay, and we can say, see, 2 is getting printed from here, right? Now, how do we iterate over the array? So what if we want to print all the elements of the array? Can we print the complete array at once? Let's see. Okay, let's go like this. So system dot out dot println and numbers. Now what would happen? Please take a moment and try to guess here. We see the hash code because it is printing the value of array itself, not the array elements, but of the array itself. Now, in order to print the values of each element, we'll have to go one by one. So for 0th index, we can print like this. We can see 1. And similarly for first index, second index, third, fourth, fifth, and sixth. But that would not be very efficient, right? So we can use a for loop. You can use for each loop as well. Int I is equal to 0, I is less than, I should be less than array length. So numbers dot length I plus plus. Okay. Now we'll say system dot out dot println and let's say element at index plus I. So we'll print the value of I as well, plus leave some space, plus numbers of I. Okay, now let's run this. Let's remove ln and only keep print. Oh, we should have kept ln because we are keeping a long statement here, right? So here we can see element at index 0 is 1, then 2, 10 because we changed 3 to 10, then 4, 5 and 6, right? Now again, this is how we use array, this is how it supports. Plus wanted to confirm one more thing is whenever we are doing a for loop, right? Let's remove this part. Whenever, okay, it's time consuming actually. Yeah, so whenever we are doing a for loop, so as we saw for int I is equal to 0, I is less than array dot length I plus plus, right? And here we are doing the system dot out dot println and we are printing the value. Now what happens is we are initializing I to the 0th index. So I will be initialized, let's say, let's take another array. So 1, 2, and this value we had changed to 10. Okay, 4, 5, 6. So I is now pointing at this location, I at the 0th index. So we print nums of I, we get the value 1, right? Then I plus plus. So I moves to the next pointer, that is to the first index. Earlier it was at 0th index, now at first index, it prints the value 2. Again I plus plus, it moves to the next pointer, it prints the value 10, and similarly 4, 5 and 6. Again, array length here in this case is 6. Length is 6, right? But index can be less than 6. Index can only be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. That's why we keep this condition that I less than array dot length, because index 6 would be this element that does not exist, this element that does not exist, and it will be outside bounds, right? So we'll get the exception for array index outside bounds, right? Let's go back. Okay, now we saw what are array, we saw how we declare them, how we access them, what is array length, we modified the arrays, we iterated through them, and what are some of the common operations? We can do sorting, searching and copying of elements. If you see, the best example, best usage for arrays is actually searching. or not just searching, but to actually get the direct value. Okay, let's say, so we have this array, we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. I want to find a value. Let's say my target value x is equal to 5, and this is first I can perform the sorting operation. Since this is already sorted, that is okay. I can directly check at the, if I go with binary search, I can directly check at the middle index. I'll see 4 is smaller than 5. We move to the next mid element, that will be 5, and we can directly find the fifth element here, right? Plus, if we have to find out which is the element after 4, we can directly go to its index plus 1, we'll get the next element, right? If we have to copy the elements, similarly we can run a for loop. We can copy the elements one by one from this array to another array, right? Okay, let's do one thing. Let's go through some code example. Okay, okay, let's go through some code example. So what will we do for the code examples? Let's see. Maybe we can go for something with sorting or searching of the element, right? So let's do it this way, that we'll try and find the element. Okay, so let's say we have an array. Okay, let's give it the value 10, 5, okay, 20, 15 and 25. Okay, this is not sorted, but these are the values in our array. Okay, now what do we want to find? We want to find the max element. Let's find the max element. So how will we do? One way would be that we'll take a variable max, we'll initialize it the first value, that is 10. So we'll say nums of 0th index, so it will be equal to 10, right? Then we will iterate through this array. One by one we will check if there is any value which is bigger than max. So we can simply check if nums of I, this is inside a for loop, is greater than max, right? So we are already at 0, so we'll start the for loop from index 1, because 0th value we have already given to max here. So we'll see nums of I would be 5. Is 5 bigger than max? No. I plus plus. 20. Is 20 bigger than max? Yes. So we'll say whenever this condition is true, we'll update the max. So we'll say max is equal to numbers of I. So now max will get the value 20. Okay. Then again I plus plus, we get the value 15. 15 is bigger than max? No, because now max is equal to 20. Then we'll go I plus plus 25. Now is 25 bigger than max? Yes. So again max will be nums of I and we'll get the value 25. Okay. Let's look at it from the code example. Okay, let's try to do it here. I think we have a lot of code. Let's get rid of the code. Okay, we don't need this part as well. Okay, let's start fresh. Okay, so we'll say int numbers is equal to, let's assign directly. So earlier we were first declaring then initializing, now we can directly initialize as well. So what are the values we had given? 10, 5, 20, 15, 25, right? 10, 5, 20, 15, 25. Okay, these are one of the most common examples for fresher level interviews and all, where we have to find the maximum element from an array. Okay, now we'll say int max is equal to numbers of 0th index. So we initialize it with the 0th index value. Now we'll use a for loop, int I is equal to, will run from 1. Why 1? As we saw, the 0th index value has already been given to max, right? So max right now at this time is 10. So we'll start the index from 1. We can start this index from any value as long as it is less than the array length. So we started from index 1, that means it will start from 5. So I is equal to 1, I is less than numbers dot length I plus plus, normal for loop. Okay, now we'll check the condition. If numbers of I is greater than max. Okay, now numbers of I in this case, as we saw, right, I is 1, so numbers of 1 would be 5, right? As we saw here, this is numbers array. Now numbers of 0 would be at the 0th index. We'll just quickly see it again here. We have 10, 5, 20, 15 and 25. If I say numbers of 0, that would mean it will go to the 0th index. I'll write the indexes here: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I say nums of 1, that would mean it will start from first index, because this is the first index, correct? This is 0th index, this is first index, then second, third, fourth. Since we had already given the 0th index value to max here, we don't need to check it from the 0th index again, right? We can, but we don't need to, right? So we start the index from first element, the second element, that is the first index. So we start from 5 and do the comparison one by one. Okay, so we'll say if nums of I is greater than equal to max. So if we find a number which is bigger than current max, max will take the new value, nums of I. So in this case it is 5, so this loop is not true, right? Otherwise we'll get the value. In the end we'll say system.out.println maximum element in the array, and then print max. Okay, now nums of I greater than max, max is 10, nums of I is 5, so this is not true. So the code loop goes here, goes back, I plus plus, so now I is equal to 2, so we'll get this value, nums of I. Now nums of I is 2, so nums of 2 is 0, 1, 2, 20. 20 is greater than max, max is 10, true. So this condition is true. So max will get the value nums of I is equal to 2, so it will get 0, 1, 2, 20 value in max of I. So max will become from 10 to 20. Then again I plus plus, nums I goes to 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Nums of I is 15. Is 15 greater than max? No, because max is 20. So this condition is false. Again I plus plus, I becomes 4. Nums of 4, that is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 is 20. Sorry, this one was 25, right? 25. So is 25 bigger than max? Max is only 20. Yes, so this condition is true. So max is equal to nums of I. It gets the value 25. So max becomes 25. Okay, and then we are printing the max after the for loop. So let's run it. Right, we are getting the maximum value. Similarly, in this way we can perform the reverse operation in an array, where we reverse all the elements in an array, or if we check whether the already given set of elements are sorted or not. Let's say if we were asked to check whether the given set of elements are sorted or not, right? So all we'll do is we are going to iterate through the array anyway, right? Only thing that is going to change is the condition. So what will be the condition that we'll use? Let's say we'll run the for loop. Okay, again we'll run it from end to end, and we'll only check if nums of I, that is current element, is less than. So we'll start with I is equal to 1. We'll start from the second element. If nums of I is less than nums of I minus 1, that is from the previous element we are comparing 5 with 10. Is if 5 is less than 10, right? We can create logic of any time. We'll keep one boolean is sorted, right? So we'll say is sorted is equal to false, because if in this entire series it would happen that any next number is smaller than its previous number, that means it is not sorted, right? Like 15 is smaller than 20, it is not sorted. 5 is smaller than 10, it is not sorted. So at the first instance only we'll get it is not sorted, right? So we can even break the condition here the moment it is true. Okay, similarly we can perform a lot of operation on arrays. Okay, I think this should be very clear to everyone. For anything else, please let me know in the comment section and I'll be happy to engage. Plus you can find all the videos and all the codes in the GitHub repository that is linked in all the videos. Thank you very much. If you like the video, please like, share and subscribe, and do let me know in the comments. Thank you.